Hey guys, Coach Keith Keppner here, and I'm going to do another video review. This time it's going to be on one of Ramsey Dewey's videos. Ramsey, martial art guy, a lot of respect for him, and I love a lot of his takes. I've actually consumed his content here and there, and a lot of stuff I agree with in terms of just martial arts, philosophy of martial arts, and everything else. I happened upon this video though, so I want to get into it. All right. So Ramsey Dewey, he's competed in martial arts, he competed in MMA, and he gives boxing its props. He gives all legitimate forms of combat sports their proper respect and props. And so, from my take of being an actual boxing coach that works with actual competitors and has taken people from zero to high level, I want to give my take on a video that he did about a year ago about hooks. The video title is "Hooks Are Straight Punches, Not Swings." And to be clear, I may make some jokes, things like that. It's all meant in good nature. And again, the whole reason I'm doing these videos is not to try to troll on people or poke at people or anything else like that, but it's to use it as an educational opportunity and to give my perspectives. And now, hey, to be clear, before I jump into this, we all have biases. We all have blind spots, no matter who you are. I do. He does. So we all have things that we have odd takes on or don't realize that it's maybe not the take that makes the most sense. All right. And so this is done out of educational purposes and some entertainment, and not as any disrespect to him or anything else like that. He seems like a really upstanding type guy, and I like him a lot. He reminds me of a lot of the guys that I know and love a lot, because I have a lot of people that I'm friends with in the martial arts community around the state of Georgia and things like that. All right. So let's jump into this. Hooks are straight punches, not swings.
Punches are not swings. Swings are one thing, punches are a completely different thing.
All right, so punches are not swings. Punches are, I don't know, what's the definition of punch here? I'm very confused. And I love how he straw mans the idea of hooks being swings, right? Which is what that is.
But a lot of people make this
because
punches
that's something
are not swings. Swings are one thing, punches are a completely different thing.
So when you demonstrate a concept or idea and you do your best to make it look as dumb as possible or as wrong as possible, that's what you call straw manning. All right, let's try to be a little bit more reasonable there, Mr. Dewey, and I'm not saying you got to steel man it, but I mean, at least present it in its proper form. And we're going to get into that. All right. So, but let's just take you at your premise that hooks are not swings. They are straight punches. All right. Let's just take you at your premise.
But a lot of people make this mistake, partially due to language. We often say swing at him, meaning punch him. But a punch, once again, is a straight line.
All right. So is that supposed to be a hook? To me, that looks like
swing at him, meaning punch him. But a punch, once again, is
a short, straight shot. And don't you love how he cocks the elbow up like that, right? Looks like great form to me in terms of boxing, right? Before I punch somebody with my hook, I'm going to do it like that, and then I punch it. Now, you could say this is just demonstration purposes or whatever, but okay, it looks like he's shooting a 1-2 with a big cock. A big cock on the two.
Straight line. A swing is something
that looks
completely different.
He's slapping.
Arced movement, much like what we're doing right now. It's Ramsey Dewey and Maddox, and we're here at the Animal MMA Gym in Shanghai, China. Let's teach you how to throw hooks. Everybody's probably saying, I know
how to teach you how to be a hooker.
Throw a hook, you just hook your arm like that and you throw a punch. Well,
hey, that looks kind of decent.
Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But let's address this issue. I said in a previous video that a hook is essentially the same body mechanics as a straight punch.
The same body mechanics as a straight punch. What type of straight punch? You talking about a two, like a straight rear hand shot, like a right hand from an orthodox fighter, or straight left hand from a southpaw fighter? You're talking about a jab. There can be different things.
What? But hooks don't travel in this straight line.
No, they don't travel in a straight line. That's why they're called hooks. Why are they called hooks? Because the shape they make is a hook shape. Imagine a fish hook. That is a rounded shape. All right, but let's get further into that.
Well, that's true. But check this out. All a hook is holding your arms in this position, kind of like you do on a speed bag. Okay? There is practical application to the movements of a speed bag in this position.
Not really. I'm sorry. Just not.
And the hand will go from open to closed. Open to close. Loose
I love that
to
tip.
tight. Well,
as you guys know that follow my stuff, I preach that a lot. Open to close, open to close. Again, this guy, you know, it's not just because I'm disagreeing with him here from a boxing perspective. Doesn't mean he's wrong on everything. Open to close. That helps with that snap. Very important. Don't squeeze your hand before you hit. Try to squeeze right on that moment, right before impact. It's going to help you with that snap and bouncing people's brains and their skulls.
Relaxed to stressed. And the arm will move in a straight line. So it's moving in this angle. Can you see the elbow? So it's a square, and it's moving that way. The arm
you don't
is
need to
moving in a
extend
straight...
your arm as you hook. It doesn't need to be something where whether you're like this or like this, where you're like that, where you're doing that motion, or as he's demonstrating like that motion. Once it connects, you just got to tighten it up. Once you extend to the point of where you're going to hit the person, when you hit that extension, you tighten up, and that's it. You don't have to extend it out further past that. The body is what brings it.
Line like a piston, just like that. And it's only moving a few inches. It's not a great amount of movement. You might notice if I throw a hook like this...
I just love how when he throws a hook, it looks like he's just about to elbow the guy. It's a little bit of his martial arts background. Or, obviously, he's a martial arts dude.
Way too far to throw it. And if I get really close, now I'm in a really awkward angle. And
I love, again, the straw manning. Okay, so first off,
it's not
he's going to show you how to...
amount of movement. You might notice if I...
So right from there, with his fist actually closer than his elbow is to his body, he's going to show you that that's not good range from the hook. I would argue that right from that range he is at this moment, he can land a hook. Thrown properly in standard boxing style.
Throw a hook like this.
All right.
I'm way too far to throw it. And if I get really close,
which we can throw a hook from that close. You need to know how to throw a hook from that close if you want to be a good boxer. If you want to do martial arts and all this other stuff, maybe not. I don't know. But I don't have a thought on that. But in terms of if you're a boxer, take it from a boxing coach. We need to be able to throw hooks from there. But let's hear his straw man demonstration of it, or let's see it.
Now I'm in a really awkward angle, and he could just pummel me down the
center line.
Oh yes,
he can just pummel you down the center line. And again, this is kind of one of these huge fallacies that people will run into with boxing and combat sports, is this idea that, well, let's let it play out a little bit.
As I open myself up trying to throw a hook, can you hit me in the face? Yes. Can you hit me in the face with the other hand? Yes. Can you elbow me in the face? Yes. Can you kick or knee me in the face? Heck yes, you can. If you pull my head down and boom, bounce it off your knee like a basketball.
Right. So we let him finish the whole straw man. Right. And again, can you elbow me, knee me, kick me, whatever? Not going to address that. I don't care. All right. Because I coach boxing in terms of learning the art of boxing as it pertains to, you know, maybe perhaps eventually competing and within the confines of the sport. I don't coach how to be a street boxer or whatever, or all this other stuff. Okay. This whole thing that people run into of you throw this move or you do this thing, you're going to be open right here and 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 here. If you think like that, and so in boxing, you are going to do what I've seen guys do, which is they're afraid to do anything. They're afraid to do a straight right hand. They're afraid to have their hands a little bit more down, a little bit more up, a little bit more to the side, a little bit more up front. They're afraid to even throw a jab. There's this one story that I can think about when I hadn't gotten into training boxing yet, and my father was working with some high level MMA guys. And I'm not going to name names here, but they were telling their fighters and arguing with my dad that, hey, in MMA, there's no place for a jab, right? You can't throw a jab in MMA because it's going to open you up for this and this and this and this and this and that and this, that, blah, 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 blah. But then, of course, inevitably, this is back in the early 2000s, inevitably, MMA fighters start to become a little bit better at boxing and start to do some more standard boxing stuff within, adapted to the sport of MMA. And you saw the jab come out. You've seen guys dominate fights now in MMA with the jab. But they were stuck in that same thing that Mr. Ramsey is talking about here, where I'm going to throw a shot and there's this open. Guess what, my friend? Everything you do has a counter move. That's what makes this sport amazing and beautiful. That's what makes combat sports amazing and beautiful, though, is that every single flipping thing you do has a counter. It has multiple counters. And like what I preach defensively, you want to have about 5 ways to react to something defensively to mix it up so they can't counter your defensive move. But also, you need to have a massive variety of counters for every single punch that everyone throws at you. And acting like you can minimize that or diminish that drastically and building up this really false argument, it's just not, it's not good. It's not good for your progression as a boxer, right? But let's jump into it.
Absolutely. So what's wrong with that? Back up a little, watch the footwork. We need some slip steps. So if I want to use my left hook, I've got a few options. 1, slip step to the lead, and now I'm going to pivot here. A hook is not a swing. A swing can generate a lot of power, but it's a stupid way to punch.
Okay, so a swing can generate a lot of power, but it's a stupid way to punch. All right, well, let's see something here real quick. I'm going to go over a lot of these martial arts guys. They love Jack Dempsey. So let's just talk about Jack Dempsey, okay? And I'm not saying that Dempsey is the epitome of perfect boxing technique. He's not. Boxing in this time was still in its infancy as a glove sport and things like that. And so a lot of punches that people throw are a little bit sloppy. But let's look at how, because a lot of these, like I said, a lot of these martial arts guys, they got a thing for Jack Dempsey. It's really funny. But so let's take some examples of Mr. Dempsey and how he throws his punches and see what we're working with here. Oh, well, would you look at that? Wait, what? Let's go back. Okay, that was a swing. That was another swing. Look where Dempsey's left hand is right now in this very moment. He's not off the center line. He's really wide open. But if you throw powerful, you can get away with some sloppy stuff. And a powerful punch is a scary punch. And in theory, you can counter a powerful loopy punch. But also in actuality, if you're not sure where it's coming from, if it's dropping before it's shooting, and things like that, sometimes that can throw you off. But anyway, let's watch this swing that is a stupid punch. Oh, yeah, that was a dumb punch. That was a really stupid punch. And again, I'm not trying to act like Dempsey is the epitome of good boxing technique, but I'm picking on Dempsey because a lot of guys, watch this. Whew. A lot of guys that love martial arts, they got a thing for Jack Dempsey. And I think actually Mr. Dewey has a thing for Jack Dempsey, all right? Oh, look at that. Swinging. Beautiful swing. See, according to Mr. Ramsey, when Dempsey was right here on the rope, before he shot that left hook, he should have stepped over to his left side, stepped off the center line, because, you're going to get killed if you stay on that center line. Oh, wait. Hold on. He just killed the other guy. What? I'm confused. Oh, wait, what about this one here? Oh, but he's on the center line. No, you're doing it all wrong. Right here. You're gonna get creamed by his right hand. What you doing? It was wrong, Dempsey. You knocked him down, but it was wrong. It was not right. Come on, guys. And again, this is what I really try to express. in all of my content, and that I I I do my best to coach technique that is going to be effective and going to benefit you. And yes, some of it is a little nuanced, and you don't see it played out perfectly. And I do my best to help you understand that, hey, everything I'm talking about is just things to work on, things to keep in mind, not black or white, all or nothing things that, hey, if you do this and if you don't do this, you're going to get killed. If you do this, you're going to be massively successful all the time. No, 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 no. I'm talking about increasing the likelihood of success, increasing the likelihood. To do it a little bit more like this is probably going to equal more success. Not this whole idea of black or white. You throw a hook like this, it's stupid. That's just a really big red flag right there. It's not stupid. If you hit with the knuckles and don't slap, and it hits them, and it's hard, and it knocks them the hell out, it's not actually really that stupid, is it?
Because it's not a punch. What we're doing is essentially wrapping arm.
Now, Ramsey just demonstrated, without even meaning to, demonstrated actually about the perfect hook arm position. Look at that. Outside of his left hand is low, right? You want it not that low. You don't want it down by your butt, even though you can see plenty of examples of guys throwing punches down by their butt and being successful. But look at that. He's got that nice hook shape. I wonder, hook shape. Hook punch, hook shape. Oh, now I'm understanding, Sensei. Maybe, actually, this is like one of those riddles where he's actually telling you how to do it kind of goofy, but you have to read between the lines, right? You have to kind of like go through the whole thing. It's like a riddle. And at the end, it actually was like, this is the moment where he actually shows you to throw the hook properly. And all the other stuff is to trick all the people that weren't ready for the secret. But this is exactly how you throw the hook. That arm position right there.
Around here.
Look at that.
And
that's a pretty darn good right hook. He could get a little bit more knuckle turn on it. Otherwise, pretty perfect. It's actually one way that I help people understand the idea of a hook. It's like wrapping around somebody's head, grabbing around their head, but making a fist and shortening it out just a little bit so you actually hit the jaw, hit the temple, right? Because think about it. If I'm like this, and my hand's out a little bit, you want that hand to wrap around, just like that hand's wrapping around. Imagine that little bag is an arm. We want to come around that arm and hit him. And that's a great position for it. And if you watch some of the best hookers in boxing, not the profession of hooking, but in boxing, you'll see them throw just like this, or pretty darn close to it.
Exposing everything in front to
attack. You're going to get killed if you throw a hook like that. No.
So, remember, a hook.
Yes. And what I love
is not a swing.
Let's watch the demo.
Now, I'm right down the center line of this target. It could hit me in the head if it's swinging. Oh, we don't want that. So if I'm swinging here and he is punching back down the center line, he is going to get me.
Well, sure. In theory, he's going to get you. And also, in theory, if you're punching and throwing hard, it could be hard for him to get you, and you might get something while he's trying to get you, right? There's so many variables going on that it's not this, again, it's not black or white, gang.
So,
now let's talk, right? So the way that Mr. Ramsey is teaching to throw a hook is you're going to have to do what? You're going to move off the center line, right? And then from that position,
I want my right hook.
And now you're going to throw it
this way.
All right. So first off, you have to step over and then shoot the hook. As anyone knows that has boxed for a long time, actually boxing, not sparred people doing hands or whatever. And also, too, let's be clear as well. Boxing when you're actually throwing hard punches, because when you're flow sparring and stuff like that, he might have a point. When you're flow sparring and throwing at sub power, and you try to reach around for some shots, and the other guy knows that those are not powerful shots, it's really easy to just touch inside of it. Super easy, right? Especially if you're on the center line. But if there's any power behind it, and there's any concern on the other guy's part of what that punch might do, that job works in theory, but it's a lot harder. All right. And so these are just the things that the funny, crazy stuff that people get into sometimes when they honestly, because again, we don't need to be always sparring hard trying to kill each other, right? But 75% power, 80% power sometimes too, because you got to get used to, for instance, driving a car at this a reasonable speed. How a car handles, for instance, like to put boxing as related to driving a car, how a car handles at 10 miles an hour is far different than it handles at 65. All right. You're driving a car at 10 miles an hour and you can take a turn that's, this degree or whatever. And then if you're driving at 65 miles an hour, you take that same turn at that degree, you're going to probably flip your car, right? And the same exact thing is going to happen to you with boxing. If you're always, let's say, sparring, especially when you're kind of a beginner intermediate, and it's always this like 50% flow sparring, 50% or less, then when you actually go, and I've seen it happen time and time again, you actually go at 65 miles an hour in your sparring or in an actual fight, and then you try to take a turn like you would at 10 miles an hour, and you try to do that same type of turn, you're gonna wreck your car.
Okay, watch the feet on that. So I step off the center line with a slip step. Right foot in front of left, I pivot back to my natural
Don't you love how he
stance.
cocks it all up? And you know what's so funny about this, gang, is that right then and there, he's basically showing a short right hand, right? Popping the elbow up, turning the body. That's a short right hand, Mr. Dewey. That is a short right hand. That's not what you call a hook, okay? In relation to your opponent, you could make the argument that's a hook in the sense that it's if you're over there, and also your dude is so slow and dumb that he doesn't do anything about it, right? We'll use your own language with you, right? He's stupid. So he's just like, and you go over there and he's like, we're just going to stay here. What if, Mr. Dewey, you step over there, he steps away. You step over there, he goes to face you. Now it's a straight punch, right? Come on. Like, we can play this whole semantic game all day long. I love how he drops it down. Again, I like I've talked about my videos, almost turn the punch down, but you want to talk about dramatic drops.
With a slip step, drop. Right foot in front of left, I pivot.
Boom.
Back to my natural stance.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. A little dramatic, a little extreme.
And then land the hook. A hook is a straight line. This is all it is. My forearm will move in a straight line while my elbow is raised here, giving it the illusion of an arc. It's not an illusion. Arc. The punch itself is a straight line. Bah, 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 bah.
Now, I move. Almost agree with him, right? Because again, we all have our biases. We all have our blind spots that we don't see. But, over the years, more experience I've had as a coach and things like that, more time around just combat sports in general, I do my best to not be, to have these things that that we all can see in others, right? That whole idea of, you can see the speck in someone's eye, but not the plank in your own, right? Okay, so just trying to, in the interest of minimizing that, in the interest of trying to agree with Mr. Dewey as much as I can. One way that I help people with their hook to get it more short or compact is to the idea of just reaching out. Reaching out. So think about it. If like I'm trying to hook you right now, I reach out, that's it. I reach out. I don't swing it from down here or whatever. So it's almost like a straight punch to the side of their face. So I go out to, not lock arm, but I go out like halfway. And then from that outward position, now I just turn my body and get my squeeze and knuckle contact, and we're good to go. And you can generate so much power with a hook like that and have it not be super wide and obvious. Because again, like to his point, you're swinging wide punches. Yes, there's a possibility you're opening yourself up no matter how hard you punch. A good guy will just bite down on the mouthpiece and dig a shot right inside of it, all right? So there's some point to that. And the idea of almost like a hook is a straight shot, it's just a straight shot that goes out halfway and then turns in with the body rotation. That's not a bad concept.
Move off the center line. I raise my elbow.
So you're going to move off the center line. You're going to raise your elbow. That's right. So 2 moves to throw a hook. You're going to, okay, so not just you're standing in front of a guy, hook, which is what you have to do sometimes when you box, for anyone that's ever boxed before. But with his idea, you're going to step off the center line, raise the elbow, hook. Again, imagine trying to implement that in sparring or in a fight. All right, we're doing our thing. We're doing our thing. All right, step off the center line, raise the elbow. Dude, you've missed the opportunity. 24 hours ago, it was gone.
I transfer my weight from one foot to the other. That's a hook. It's not a swing, and it's not an arc. On the left side, I can slip step, rotate, pivot.
So let's define like what a swing is too, where a swing is moving something from one side to another side. So again, dude, semantical games here, man. Come on.
And then throw the punch as a straight line. My fist goes from loose to tight, loose.
All right, well, that's enough. Oh,
punch.
I love the
Is
accented trip.
toward the target in the same direction as my punch. This allows me to get off the center line and counter at the same time.
Okay, nothing.
Camera up here, camera up here. If you've ever attended a cardio kickboxing class, they probably... Camera up here, camera up here. If you've ever attended a cardio kickboxing class, they probably taught this combination. You stand still and you go jab, cross, hook, uppercut, jab, cross, hook, uppercut, and you do that until you're sweaty. Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, what's wrong with that? Maybe stepping with the jab, right? That's something that I'll harp on, is that a lot of times you want to start from not in range on someone and use the jab to get you there. That's your vehicle, right? So you start from 4 inches, 5 inches out of your jab. You step in with your jab, and then you throw your combination, all right? But the 1, 2, 3 is built for you to be able to actually just throw a 1, 2, 3, all right? This whole idea of I got to shoot the 1, then I got to shoot the 2, then I got to go get my keys, unlock my car, get in my car, drive to the grocery store, drive back, or drive around town, come up the other side, and then throw my hook. A little ridiculous.
Say we're fighting, and I start throwing them like this. Okay, the jab can connect.
Let me just do this funny little thing here real quick, right?
And I start throwing them like this. Okay,
Ramsey, right now you're open. Your body's open. Your head's open. This is open. That's open. This. Blah. I'm gonna go crazy. Right. Everything's open. No. You have to be able to throw a punch and not be open for anything. Not true. Now, also, you know what's funny here too is, and again, I'm not trying to pick on him for this, but this is just a very specific, nuanced boxing thing. Not really, it's a drill thing, but it's just through me doing so many drills with people over the years with all levels. You notice this jab that he demonstrates right here, okay? I'm not trying to say he's saying this is like the perfect demonstration of a jab and whatnot, but in terms of a drill, I just want to touch on this because it's important when you guys work drills and things like that, and for any of our coaches that run drills and things like that. Look at where the jab is in relation to the face. The guy, can't remember his name, I forgot it already. If he, Maverick or something, if he dropped his hands right now, just dropped them, and Dewey threw a jab just like this, with this range on it, it's not going to connect. You see that? That jab is 3 inches off the face. It's not going to connect. So oftentimes when we work drills and things like that, and sometimes when we spar as well and fight, we'll throw punches that are stopping like there because we're hitting hands, not punching actually to the range we need to be punching. So sometimes I'll have people stop that have this trouble and tell them to put their hands down and have them just touch the targets as they, touch the targets that they're going to be hitting, so they can get used to actually what the range is on the face, not where the hands are. If you punch to where the hands are, and the hands are out a little bit, just like this, they're not even out that far, it's going to screw up your understanding of range, and someone could just literally drop their hands and you not hit them, all right?
The jab
he tried to step in to actually give him more range. But that right hand wouldn't have connected either. So
and
there's the jab.
I start throwing them like this. Okay, the jab.
There's the right hand. That wouldn't have connected. That wouldn't have connected.
Cross can connect.
And now, to his point, guess what? I don't know if I'm sure you guys know this. Straight punches have one range. Hooks have another range, right? If I'm standing in one place and I extend my arm, they are a different length than if I bend my arm. Did you know that? I bet you did. And you don't need Ramsey, or we don't need Ramsey to tell us this, all right? So, and this is a common thing that he does have a great point on, is that we'll train like 1, 2, 3, acting like, and especially if you throw a super short three, like his three is kind of short, he could throw it longer by a little more extension of the arm, but a lot of times 1, 2 short three is not going to be there, because if we're like this, 1, 2, both those shots are off screen, three right there, he would have to step in for me to throw that. All right. Now, even if I throw my longest 1, 2, 3, I still might not get the three, and I might have to step a little bit with the three. Or one way as well that I also help people understand this. So like a 1, 2, little step in with the three. Just don't make it wide. And also you're throwing it off the right hand, so there's less openings. If you put punches together, it's harder to counter than if you just throw one lead shot. All right. Now, and again, to be clear, you can't just do one lead shot and get away with it. Guess what? Almost all your favorite boxers have done it. Now, as long as you don't do it all the time, you're good. You also, when you shoot your 1, 2, you have that in a little bit shorter range. You do it in your hook range, right? So you step in with that one, and that one's just a little shorter than your longest jab, right? Just a little shorter. It's not a super close jab. It's just slightly shorter. The 2 is a little shorter, and now the 3 is your perfect 3. All right, so that's the very important real way in boxing, the sport of boxing. I don't know about all this other stuff, right? But in boxing, that's how it's done.
Is like a mile away, and the uppercut isn't even going to touch him. Why? Because the footwork's not there. The jab and the cross, that's okay. If his guard is still up there, I can take that slip step here, boom, and pivot into that hook right there. Or if he advances when I'm throwing the punches, he comes forward, boom, I take this step and throw the check hook at the same time. Okay, what about the uppercut? Or the right hook? Everybody has trouble with the right hook. So many people have been sparring for years.
So everyone has trouble with the right hook. Hold on.
Training for years, and they've never, ever once connected a right hook.
So many people have been sparring for years, and they've never, ever connected a right hook. Why is that? Tell us the secret, Ramsey. Well, let me give you my thought before he tells us the secret, or his secret. There's a reason why in our number system, when I decided to number past 3, because 1, 2, 3 is pretty universal, unless you do the Customado thingy system, right? But 1 through 3, universal, 1, 2, 3. We all know that. Once you get to the 4, and the 5, and the 6, and stuff like that, then it gets a little bit more mucked up. So more of a standard old school boxing style way is 1, 2, 3, 4 is the rear uppercut, and not the rear hook or the right hook. Reason why I made sure in our number system that 6 is the right hook and not the right uppercut is because the right hook is the only punch I've had to ban from fighters. And I know some of you guys in the comments, you're banning punches from your fighters? Oh my gosh. Well, let's be clear. When someone is fighting, and fight after fight after fight after fight, they're doing like a jab or a double jab and a big right hook, and it's not landing, and they're doing this often, yes, I will be like, hey, no more right hooks, period, in the gym, in sparring, and in your fight. Because that right hook is very range dependent. It's also one of the slowest punches to throw, or the slowest punch to throw, because it's coming from back here, and it's swinging around a little bit, and people like to try to throw it because they're strong with their right hand. And to Dewey's point, they're kind of swinging it a little bit or whatever, right? Being wide with it. And versus a straight right hand is much more, it's quicker. And against an orthodox fighter, it's going to have many more places to hit and land versus that right hook. And then lastly as well, with the right hook, it's easy to paw with it, to slap with it. If you try to get some range on it, you start hitting with the fingers and the palm and things like that, that's not going to score in boxing, all right? You have to hit with the knuckles. And a lot of times people will just kind of club with the right hook, and it's not a clear knuckle shot, and judges, and the amateurs especially, aren't going to score it oftentimes, all right? But so let's see Dewey's secret.
Again, if I throw it this way, I'm way off the mark. I'm opening myself up ridiculously. I'm going to take a switch step. Watch the feet. Check this out. My right foot comes forward, boom, like a walking step. And now I'm going to pivot, boom, now.
And that's a move you can do. And that's something you can mix into your arsenal, whether you're a boxer or martial artist and whatever, right? Fine. Don't have a problem with that.
Off the center line.
And of course, bringing your rear hand closer to somebody.
This is the center line. This is me standing directly in front of Maddox, right? If he holds out his jab,
center line,
the jab is right on the center line.
Not a bad thing.
And if I try to walk into it, I will get hit every time. So, simple solution.
And as we all know, I don't know what this other guy's experience is, but I feel like if you just had some rough and tumble guy just maybe jab and swing a big stupid right hook, you might just club him, right? We've all seen things like this happen. So I don't know. Maybe he's a champion or something, but
Step off the center line. Here, throw out that jab. Off the center line, exactly. And now what does the hook do? Well, the hook can come in this way, it can come in that way, or we've also got a right uppercut right there. Yeah. So, slip step to the right with that walking step. Boom. And we're going to come over the shoulder into the chin. All right. A lot of people ask me, like, why do I throw the hook, the right hook specifically, at a slightly downward angle? Well, it's because we're clearing the shoulder.
And, definitely good validity to that point. You want to clear the shoulder when you're boxing somebody, maybe an opposite stance in your lead hook. Kind of have that arc sometimes to come over. Good things to incorporate. And that's where, again, all the little nuances and things that you don't need to be stuck in this overly rigid system. You want to have ideas and concepts and foundation and fundamentals. But the moment you start trying to just put yourself in cement on like, oh, this is how I have to do it, it has to be like this, it has to be perfect, you're going to run into a lot of troubles.
If you look at Maddox's shoulder right here, even if he's not throwing a punch, maybe his guard is up right there, and I take this, I've got to clear the shoulder and I've got to come down at an angle, right? As opposed to straight across, where I might get him in the ear, might get him in the temple, might get a good shot, but I want to rattle the brain.
Trust me, Ramsey, you will rattle the brain if you hook him hard on the temple or even the ear, So again, chin's a great place to hit. That's where the most target areas on the face, in my opinion, the nose, the jaw area, and then second's going to be temple. Last is going to be forehead. All right.
Simple footwork, slip step.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Pivot.
Right.
That on the bags.
Right.
Very simple. Try it again.
Again, this whole idea that you need to step off line to throw a hook, ridiculous. In the middle of your combination, I'm going to throw a hook, step off line. You're probably going to miss the opportunity. Again, it can work. It can be used. You can cut an angle and shoot a punch, like 100%. But again, if you have to do this setup in order to throw a punch, that's where you have a gigantic problem. And that is where I will be a little bit opposite to what I'm saying, a little bit, black or white on this, is that, hey, as you go up levels, if you feel like you have to do this and check off these boxes before you do a move, if you're going to miss the opportunities.
And then the hook. Slip off the center line, throw the uppercut, boom, and then follow.
Oh yeah, this is a funny thing. So
off the center line.
Slip off the center line. Sure, good. Whatever, cool. Now, if someone slips off the center line and throws the uppercut,
the uppercut.
All right, everything looks good, right? We're looking darn good, in my opinion, as a boxing coach. Now, guess what, my friend? They're not stuck. They're not cement, all right? Because we're not going to train them to be like cement. Now they turn to face you off that uppercut. Let's say you hit their elbow, right? Didn't land cleanly, whatever. All this idea like, oh, I'm going to land this clean shot, it doesn't work, right? The range is off, whatever. They turn to face you. So he's just sought that uppercut. Now,
boom, and then follow.
And then he just did a hook. But wait a second. If I'm facing him after that uppercut, and now he's standing on the center line, he throws the hook. Wait, let's look, guys.
Slip off the center line, throw the uppercut.
So he shot the uppercut off the center line. He's good. But once that uppercut's thrown, if that guy turns to face him on the center line, boom, he's getting knocked out. He's done. Done. Knock the hell out.
With the hook. Why? Because the purpose of the uppercut is to lift the chin so that you can hit it with the hook, rather than the other way around. Hit him with the hook first.
Right.
So
everyone knows, right? Great move. Uppercut. Picks their head up. Hook. Classic boxing. Basic.
Why? Because the purpose of the uppercut is to lift the chin so that you can hit it with the hook, rather than the other way around. Hit him with the hook first so you can lift the chin. That doesn't make
that doesn't make a lot of sense. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Well, how often, I think, isn't it that knockdown that just happened to Frank Martin against Gervonta Davis? Let me look it up here real quick. So Tank KO Martin. Let's see real quick. So the hook and the uppercut doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Hook, uppercut, dumb, doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's pull it up and see if we can see it here.
Tank Davis is legendary.
Okay. Boom. All right. Whoa. I know that couldn't have been an uppercut because according to Dewey, that's just doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, hook. But wait, Tank did get off the center line. He must have got knocked out. The uppercut, what? But that doesn't make any sense. Well, actually, it does make sense because guess what? When you throw a hook, what do people do? They go like that sometimes. What does that open up for? Opens up the uppercut. Sometimes when you box people, you throw a hook and they drop levels a little bit off of a hook to do like this. They kind of shell up. And again, that makes the uppercut very available. So there's nothing wrong with this at all. Sometimes if it's a 3-2 and a hook and a straight shot, in this case, it would be a right hook and a straight left hand. If someone's dropping levels all the time, a little bit kind of hunching up, that straight shot isn't going to land clean. Time to bring it up with the uppercut, and someone will run right into it just like Martin did. All right, so come on, my friend, come on. Again, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but let's just talk. Let's talk real stuff here, guys. Let's talk real. Let's not talk fanciful, dogmatic stuff.
Get off the center line, bring yourself closer. We're going to move at a diagonal forward to the left on a
Okay.
A quick way to check whether you're punching or swinging is get a rope, a line like this.
And you know what I love
swing
too is here on this double
or
M bag.
swinging
He
is
does
get a rope, a line like this.
a hook style shot there. You see,
Swing.
right before he kind of backhanded the bag on that one. That's a hook style
Or
shot
swinging
where he's
is
not
get a
stepping off
rope,
the center
a
line.
line like this.
Ooh,
A swing, a double end bag, something on a string.
there
So
was
you can
again
check that straight
that
line
right hook.
and punch it. If you're landing clean with the knuckles, you're probably moving in a straight line. See that? However, if you find sometimes your arm is wrapping around the rope or the cord, it's because your arm is traveling.
Look at that. It looks like he's a boxing coach now. He stumbled upon actually being a boxing coach. And again, like I said, maybe this whole video is designed as misinformation, and you have to, have the right sunglasses to see the actual truth in the video. Maybe, you have to watch Sensei Keppner's video to understand the truth of what Sensei Ramsey is teaching. That's a perfect one.
rather
That's not.
than a straight line. It's because you're swinging rather
And just to drive a
on that
point
rope,
home,
on the rope.
because I can skip past
Your-
all this stuff. All right, get out there and train. All right, so
Use my
let's just wrap it up with one of the greatest hookers in the history of boxing. All right, not one of the greatest hookers in the history of ladies of the night, but of boxing. So let's look at this guy. I don't know if you've heard of this guy. His name was Walker Smith, and he came to be known as Ray Robinson. And people said he was sweet as sugar, and became known as Sugar Ray Robinson. So let's learn from this guy, because this guy knows something about boxing. He was like 40-0 until he lost to this guy named Jake LaMotta, and then he avenged that loss, I think, 5 times, and then went on, I think, to win 70 fights straight after that. So he knows something about, not as much as Ramsey, though. Not as much as Ramsey, but he might know a little something about how to throw a left hook. Let's watch. Okay, so I see Robinson just shot the right hook to the body. He didn't step off the center line for it. Bad, Robinson. Bad. All right, now I'm sure if he is going to come back with a left hook, he's going to step off the center line, isn't he? Oh, what? Must have just been a fluke. Must have just been a one-time occurrence. Never would happen again. Oh, he did it again, but he didn't even have to do it. And look at the result. Again, that kind of classic saying, you can't argue with the results. If the results are getting you what you want to get, there's probably some truth to it, right? And again, we can talk about optimization, this, that, and the other thing. You can say that, oh, Robinson shot that hook from kind of low. You can say those things. That's fine. But that doesn't take away from the basic mechanics of whipping your body and wobbling someone's freaking brain and dropping them and being a champion. All right? Or at least a good boxer. All right? So that wraps it up for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments, questions, thoughts below. And again, I want to make it super clear to Mr. Ramsey that I like a lot of your content. A lot of your stuff makes a lot of sense, and I agree with a ton of it. And just like anyone, even if you were like a sole boxing coach, we would probably have some disagreements or different philosophies on things, and that's totally fine, right? And that's where it's important to kind of talk about all this stuff. And again, this is all meant with love and respect. He seems like a great guy, a smart guy, a funny guy, a good family man. So massive respect. And he's done combat sports. So again, massive respect. Just again, using this as educational purposes to have some fun while we educate. All right, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you on the next video. Appreciate you guys.